Okay, well, now I feel stupid. Now I feel very stupid. Thank you, Abigail, for pointing out there was no sound. Well, those little gems of priceless wisdom are lost to the ages now. I shall never go back and revisit those deep and meaningful thoughts I had for that initial 30 seconds. Those thoughts are gone now. But hey, speaking of gone, what about Trump? Hey, ha ha! And hello, Shannon, on the Facebook. And I see from Abigail's comments, you are actually on YouTube, and I can't see you. See, I don't know if something at your end, because I dug in the controls on YouTube to see if I'd accidentally muted you or something, because I haven't banned you because you can come in, but maybe I there at various points there've been a version of muting. Possibly you did something at your end accidentally. I don't know. I really don't know. It remains a mystery to me why I can't see you on YouTube. It's the thing. Music value of Trump ruining YMCA since 2020. No, I just think it was funny that he was dancing to a song about gay men having anonymous sex in showers. So, you know, with his super bad dancing, super bad old white man dancing. And I can say that because I'm an old white man. It's my word. No, sorry, Abigail. Cross purposes there. I didn't mean mute as in microphone being muted. I meant I was talking to Shannon, aka Grasshopper, as to potentially why I can't see him on YouTube. I can't see his YouTube comments, but everyone else can. And he's not blocked because he's there, and it is some weird quirk of YouTube. And I delved in as deep as I could on my end and couldn't find any friggin' explanation for it. Yep, so I don't freaking know what it is. It's one of those things. Yep, it I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. And I can't find something that tells me why it's happening. And I shall be forever more challenged. Shannon, actually, can I know, like, when you put stuff in the chat on YouTube, other people in the YouTube chat see you and I don't. Can you leave an actual comment on the YouTube page, not in the chat, but a comment under the video? That would be an interesting experiment to me. If yeah, like, now I know you can be seen by others in chat. I want to know if you're able from your end to put a comment on the YouTube video, and then B, if you can, whether or not I can actually friggin' see it. There's no comment for you to put on. Okay. YouTube, you fucking suck balls. Actually, let me have a quick look at something. Oh, there you go. There's me singing. Yeah, Abigail, I know other people can see. Okay, so other people can see Shannon putting comments in the chat, but he can't leave a comment on the video itself. And hi, Invisible Chicken, by the way. That didn't work. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know what YouTube's doing. That's the thing. It's Invisible Chicken. Who, that Chinese metal band that blend traditional Mongolian sounds and throat singing with heavy metal. They're pretty cool. You gotta love a bit of cross-cultural music mashups. Well, you don't gotta, but I do. Yes, it was a bit of a thing, wasn't it? Invisible Chicken. The count for Biden stuck for so long at 264, and then jumped to 290 when they basically confirmed by the count he had a sufficient lead in those two states that you didn't get an automatic recount. So yeah, I mean, as I say, there's still a non-zero, very, very, very low chance, but a non-zero chance that some of the obstruction Trump was saying he was going to do might yield results. It almost definitely won't, but you don't know it won't until it doesn't, because weird shit happens. But yeah, yes, Musical Avenue can drive to Mildura, Portland, Lakes Entrance, Wilson's Prom. Yes, all these places. Used to actually do weekends away in Lakes Entrance. There was a bed and breakfast called the Goat and Goose. Mrs. Angry and I used to go at least once a year there. There was this nice couple that owned it, a couple boomers, and the guy had actually built the buildings, and so had all this local wood, and it was like just very cool and rustic. Then they got divorced, and then the place got sold. And weirdly, because I've posted a few videos from there on my YouTube channel, and dude commented, go, "Oh, my mum bought this place a couple of years ago from there." So yeah, Abigail, all right, drinking wine dressed up. Then, I mean, why don't we? If it's party and celebration and dressing in finery, why don't we go straight to, assuming anyone wants to, go straight to angry bunching and saying how fucking relieved we all are now. And I'll put it on Facebook for Shannon. Where are we? There we go. Yeah, that's it in Facebook as well. On the off chance anyone is feeling enthusiastic and wanting to join in and, release the tension. I feel like we can release the tension now. The world is still strange and screwy and whatnot, and who fucking knows what Trump's next fucking shit show is going to be. I get that, yeah. But it's reasonable to feel a sense of relief at the moment, in my opinion. And speaking of opinion, here's Grasshopper. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you? Yeah. Oh, that is Suave Abigail.
Oh, sure. Abigail, you look fantastic.
Oh no, the echo. Which honestly is kind of fun, because I feel like I'm in a cave, but that's all good. All right.
What is it with women in business attire that is just so appealing and sexy? It's just a thing.
It's a good look. It is a good look. Absolutely.
Okay, that should be sorted now.
Yep, yeah, it is.
You're right. Women wearing ties is the hottest thing ever. Makes me go weak at the knees every time.
It is.
And this is my Ravenclaw tie as well. So
nice.
House Ravenclaw represent with the eagle. The animal is an eagle, not a raven, as most people think.
According to the online quiz that I took, I'm a Hufflepuff.
Cool.
That's fair.
Cool. That's fair. No shame there.
I also want to say hello to Lura Jane and Miguelich and Helly and hello to Kristen. Yes, it is. It is a fabulous look. It's a celebratory and suave look, and I'm completely on board with it.
So as I said in the Facebook comment section, as they say in The Princess Bride, good riddance to bad rubbish.
Yeah.
Well, they say lots of things in The Princess Bride that I'm trying to come up with another the insults that he gives to Humperdinck. Those are the sorts of things that would be fun to say to Trump's face. Just that chain of insults he gives to Humperdinck is really something else.
The only problem is, like, a lot of to give The Princess Bride full credit, like, it's supposed to be a kid's movie, but a lot of the jokes are more mature and not very puerile. And I have a feeling that Trump just wouldn't understand them because it actually requires a modicum of intelligence to get them.
Oh, his understanding or enjoyment is not important to my enjoyment. So,
Hey, that sounds like my sex life. I mean,
hey,
Hey.
hey now.
Oh yeah.
I just heard my wife from the other room go, "Oi!"
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, so I didn't do the advanced thing, and I was slightly late setting up because near the end of the Arthur section of Red Dead Redemption 2, major story points coming to an end, and Mrs. Angry has played, but she wanted to rewatch it and see if it played out differently when I played it. And then we both realized, like, oh shit, it's 8 o'clock and I'm right in the middle of this really extended action sequence. So just pause the PlayStation, and she's talking to her brother in the UK, which is the thing she does every Sunday night. And I'm doing this. And hello to Heist and Haruhi. Oh, you think Fox News is going to stay sucking up to the Trumps? Have you not noticed the word has apparently officially gone out from Rupert that, no, Donald, go bye-bye now. Donald, don't do dumb shit. Fox News are explicitly editorializing in a way that's obviously Trump is meant to understand this is Rupert saying this to you. Dude, step aside, just fucking do the right thing and preserve your legacy. And don't be a sad, pathetic fuckwit that's the butt of jokes for years to come.
That's what kind of fucking legacy does Trump leave behind apart from being a fucking sentient Cheeto? I can't imagine any other legacy he'd leave behind.
A legacy of racism and hate, I think. Yeah.
Conservatives love what he did. Conservatives love what he did.
Sorry, to what Abigail said, isn't that just all old rich white guys?
Mm. Well, I mean, he was Hitler in plain clothes. He was like, he really was next level fascist. It was so obvious.
Given that he had actual known white nationalists and Hitler worshippers in his cabinet, not his cabinet, in his staff. And people think, oh, you just call everyone a Nazi. I go, no. Stephen Miller, he is a known actual white supremacist, uber racist, and lover of Hitler. And the ugly shambling mound guy, and I'm forgetting his name for a second. The guy just with the really fucking ravaged face. Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
The both of them are actual Nazis.
White supremacists.
Yeah, they are lovers of Hitler. They actively and aggressively push actual fascist policies. And a thing. So Lyra Jane, American can finally plunge that giant turd down. So look, it's a massive relief. Giant turd is a good reference in more than one ways, because you feel a massive sense of relief. Your life hasn't necessarily changed significantly, but there is a feeling of relief.
There is. Harui said one started Breitbart, apparently.
Yeah, that's Bannon. Bannon was one of the instigators of Breitbart.
And Safa says, evening all, what 2020, hey, Rudd and Turnbull uniting. Rudd and Turnbull uniting?
Oh, just on social media, they were both saying Trump's a complete cockhead, and it's embarrassing. And because Scotty from marketing wouldn't. Scotty from marketing is a ballless wonder, and he wouldn't say this is a threat to democracy and blah blah blah.
He actively refused to speak out against Trump.
Yeah, the media said, "Why don't you say that this is a colossal fuck up?" You go, oh, I'm not going to say anything. Going, oh, you fucking piece of shit, Scotty. You fucking piece of shit.
Sorry, I love the view out your window there, Abigail.
Oh, yeah, because
actually,
I'm on the... Yeah, you can see. Yeah.
Abigail, great views.
Summer is here. So this is facing east. I grew up in the eastern suburbs. On a clear day, you can see all the way to Mount Dandenong, where I grew up out that way. Because I live on the 14th floor of a high-rise, that high-rise that you can see there is identical to the one I live in. So it's the public housing estate in Fitzroy. The views are amazing.
Yeah,
one of the many perks of living here.
Yeah, the view out the other way, like when we're going to the elevators, is a view of and I actually took a picture of it because
the western suburbs. Yeah.
A view, you see the city skyline and the western suburbs, and it's cool.
Yeah,
that's
I
awesome.
often just stand out there and just watch the city. It's just great. At night, you see all the lights, and it's just it's a great view. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Angry.
I was just saying, Stuff is saying it's dark at my place, and we're the same city. You're seeing the sky at Abigail's place, and you're seeing the back fence at my place. That's why it looks. Oh no, I've got the fucking blinds closed. But you mean through that? Yeah, it's just that you're seeing the sky at Abigail's place, and you're not seeing the sky at my place.
Yeah.
Many moons
that
ago.
And the sun sets in the east and in the west. Sorry, figured that.
2003 coming
up all the time.
2003 coming into 2004. A friend of mine won tickets to see the fireworks from the top of a high-rise building in Circular Quay. And it's the only time that I've ever gone out to the city fireworks for New Year's Eve because screw that.
Oh, getting in that crowd would be horrible.
Oh, it's beyond horrible. I got dragged out there 99 coming into 2000 from my ex-girlfriend, and although her and I are still good friends, I still hate her for that experience. It was the worst thing ever. But went to this one at Circular Quay, and up on the roof, and there was railings all around and all of that sort of stuff, so that it was reasonably safe, and you get to see the fireworks from there, and it was quite lovely, especially considering that you're not surrounded by literally millions of people. But the most entertaining part was after the fireworks had finished and all of the celebrations had finished, was watching this gigantic fucking max exodus of the entire crowd that was Circular Quay for the fireworks, trying to make their way to buses, taxis, trains, etc., to try and get out of the place. And I'm just like, oh God, thank God I'm staying here tonight.
No, pretty intense stuff. Yeah, I lived in Sydney for 10 years, and I always avoided the big events.
Oh, smart man. Yeah. No, a few friends from overseas and interstate have all said to me, "Oh, do you go to the New Year's Eve fireworks?" I'm like, "Hell no."
No. I can see some of the fireworks here in the city from my view, but the building on this side, the south side, blocks most of it. It's so unfair. I can see bits of it, and I miss all the rest.
No, a good friend of ours, where they live, isn't too far away from a big public park in a place called Campbelltown, and they do sort of like a miniature New Year's Eve thing at that park. And from their backyard, you get to see those fireworks, and I'm like, okay, I still get fireworks on New Year's Eve, and I get to basically it's just a gigantic pool party and a great excuse for people to get drunk. So
that's what it is. That is very much what it is. I mean, when I was in Sydney, the two big things that happened that people expected me to go to was the announcement of who would host the 2000 Olympics. There was this big thing down at Circular Quay with big screens streaming it live. And of course, it was Sydney, so everyone went off their fucking nut when it got announced. And everyone at work is going, "You going down the Circular Quay?" "I'm going down the Circular Quay." And I go, "Am I fucked? What a nightmare being crushed in with a bunch of really exuberant people." And the other one is they closed the Harbour Bridge to traffic one day to let people walk across it. And everyone's going, "Oh, you're going to go walk across the Harbour Bridge?" And no, like without exaggeration, 1 million fucking people went down there, and it was just this crush of people. And it took like 2 hours to get across the bridge, so it was 2 hours being in an inescapable crush of people. I was so glad I didn't go.
That sounds like a fucking nightmare to me.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. I'll take nope for $200, thanks.
Yeah. At least they didn't do anything weird to the bridge. There was a thing that happened in London, like when they did that big South Bank redevelopment where all the glass towers and financial things are now. But there were these things by the Thames, and there was it was a pedestrian bridge, and on the day it was opened, thousands and thousands and thousands of people are walking across it, and the bridge started to rock, and then it started to rock.
Harmonic resonance.
Yes, because they were all unconsciously, they all walked in lockstep and set up harmonic resonance. And I saw the video, the bridge was just and it was not a suspension bridge, it was a fixed bridge.
Yeah, didn't they close it down for like
wobbling?
Didn't they close it down for like the better part of a year after that? And they put like all of these dampeners in along it and all of that sort of stuff to stop that from happening again.
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah, they had to.
Yep.
And hi, Spirit Wolf on Twitch, by the way. So
hey, Spirit Wolf, how you doing? Yeah, no, it's like a bunch of people from overseas are like, "Oh, so you're going to go to the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras?" I'm like, as much as I completely support the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras, you couldn't pay me enough to go to the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras.
Yeah. I went a couple times. I marshaled one year. That was a good perk. Because then your job is to stand between the crowds and the parade.
Yep.
So my job was to make sure no one was blocking my view, and it was great.
Nice.
Yeah, that was great.
One of her closest friends, she used to work at a sex shop in Newtown. And I had to go out there one night to pick her up, which happened to be the night of the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras. So getting in there in the first place was an absolute nightmare, but thank God I was riding a bike at the time as opposed to driving a car, which made things a little bit easier, especially for parking.
Yeah.
And I get to her workplace, and she's hurriedly trying to pack everything up because when the gay and lesbian Mardi Gras was on that year, the shops had to close as the parade was going past, but after the parade was finished, they were allowed to open back up. And her boss was just like, "I'll just shut it down for the night" type thing. And she was like, "Okay." So we closed it down, but you could walk upstairs in her business and out onto the roof of the awning that kind of went over the entry to the sex shop. And we stood out there and kind of watched the parade. And, you know, it was lovely. It was beautiful. All of the dancing, the music and all of that sort of stuff. It was beautiful. And after that, we turned around, got on my bike and rode back to her place. And I said, "Newtown, I'm sorry, that's very wrong. That's where she lived. She worked in King's Cross."
Yeah. You can go on the awnings, but you shouldn't. People have fallen through the awnings because they're not designed to hold human weight.
This one made quite a few sounds when we stood on there, so we didn't move much.
I really liked Midsummer, which is the Melbourne festival.
Midsummer's awesome. Midsummer is it can be crowded, but it's in such a wide open space that it doesn't trigger my social anxiety. Plus, it's all my people. Like, it's like really good. And we usually have picnics there. Me and my circle of friends will have a picnic at Midsummer, watch the shows, have some donuts, and it's just lots of fun. Yeah. I don't go to the Melbourne Pride March anymore because I never fail to get sunburned ever.
Oh God,
much ever, and it's crowded and lots of people. I've marched in it a few times as well.
Suffer's asked me a question: is COVID still around my part of Sydney? Suffer, there's been a couple of instances fairly close to where I live, but not too close to be of a real concern. And most of those instances were of a restaurant in a suburb called Liverpool, which is about half an hour drive from where I live.
I used to live in Liverpool.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I was like this big, like I went to primary school there. It's where I first went to primary school.
Oh, okay.
And then my dad got transferred to Watsonia Barracks.
Well, there was a restaurant there, and
Yeah.
there was a worker who tested positive to COVID and still went to fucking work, the idiot. And
Yeah.
the restaurant has
Epic
now
face
been
palm.
the restaurant has been shut down because so this is apparent, alleged, that whole addendum to this. Apparently, the owners also knew that he was positive and still let him come into work. That is the story at this point. There is no hard evidence of that.
Are you doing a Melbourne? Are you doing like, is Sydney doing what Melbourne did and just like fucking things up for its people?
We're not. No. There's very few.
Okay.
All of the community.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, for the most part, the community transmissions, they've been able to trace back to various known outbreaks and whatnot. And I think that there was like one about a month ago that they didn't know too much about, and I haven't heard anything more about that one. So, Safa also asks, can I hear the fireworks from my place? I live a good 2 hours drive with good traffic from the heart of the CBD, Safa, so no.
No. Okay. Yeah. No, New South Wales has had that consistent low level of cases, but managing it, which is good. Also, good morning.
Well, I think people in oh yeah, that's my cat. People in Sydney, like, because I've visited Sydney, and they just are so antisocial or asocial. I don't think the virus has spread that much because just people don't do things together. And here in Melbourne, it's like we just want to hang out and drink wine and our soy lattes and
when it first hit from the Ruby Princess, there was a lot of infections because people were going to bars and restaurants and all of those sorts of different things, and that caused a lot of mass infections. But once we got on top of that, things calmed down a bit, and we have the occasional spike here and there, but nothing really major. Like, we haven't gone back into hard lockdown for a while now. I just heard on the news. Yeah, I just heard on the news that Melbourne's opening up a little bit more as of midnight tonight, like that 25-kilometer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well. No limits on our travel after midnight tonight. We can go anywhere in the state. There's the kitty. Good Spirit, I assume you're in America because you're saying good morning and you're happy, but a little bit.
Too many claws.
Bit of trepidation still because Trump remains in office till January, and yes, he could fuck up a lot of things between now and then.
A couple of my friends were like, what executive orders do you think that he'll try and put through before he actually leaves office? And I think, if anything, he's just going to put through anything to stop him and his buddies from getting into all sorts of fucking trouble once any kind of investigation.
What happened? I was just clicking on Musical Aviator had popped up in the waiting room to come in, and I just clicked and he disappeared. I hope I didn't click wrong and send you. I hope you switched off your camera. I was just going, and let's bring him in, and then it disappeared. And I thought, oh God, did I click the wrong fucking? No, I don't think I did. Why would I click the wrong thing? I don't know. But yes, so okay, Musical Aviator might join us because it looked like he was trying to. But anywho, Good Spirit, you want to hug and shake hands again? That's going to be a bad idea probably for another year. We probably will not get a widely used, effective treatment vaccine for about a year.
I have my hugs and kisses with my close family, and that's about it, really.
Yeah. I mean, the people you're with, but I mean, because like we used to do YouTube meetups on the regular here in Melbourne, just so people hang out, and we were mad huggers, and like if it gets to the stage, like in 2 weeks, you're allowed to have outdoor gatherings of 50 people, and so if we were having a meetup, it'd be this whole impulse thing. Every time you see someone you haven't seen for most of this year, and you want to go, oh no, we can't. We always did, but we can't.
No, that's the thing. Like, say say that all the stars aligned and we decided to do an actual face-to-face meetup from the Angry Bunch. The hardest part would be that when I saw you guys, not to run up and give you all a huge hug and say hello. Like that's just, that I'd have to hold myself back from that. And that does suck. But I understand why we can't do that. Safa, no, it's 2 hours with good traffic to get into Sydney. There's no such thing as no traffic in Sydney. So it's 2 hours with good traffic. With bad traffic, so the best with bad traffic I've had is about 2.5 hours. The worst, and I'm not even kidding, was the better part of 6 hours in the fucking car. That sucked out loud.
Yeah, well, I've been in Sydney traffic that just stopped, and I'm like, okay, guess who's not driving any further? I see a pub over there. I would rather be in a pub for 3 hours than in the car for 3 hours. So.
Amen to that. That's why I rode my bike everywhere that I went, because it made traffic so much easier. But now I can't. So I just do everything I can not to have to go anywhere near those really populated areas. Like on the rare occasion that my wife and I need to go into the city for anything, I still hate it, but we take public transport because driving through that is a nightmare.
Yeah. Good Spirit saying some of the reports are, even with a vaccine, it might only be 76%. Look, everything is speculation. We still have to steel ourselves for the very real possibility there will never be an effective vaccine. Look, all the people who know, all the people who are way smarter than me are confident there will probably end up being multiple effective treatments in the next year. And then it's just a case of manufacturing and distributing them. But you have to accept the possibility there might never be a vaccine.
If I could just go in on this one, being that I've got a degree in biology and I still keep up to date with a lot of biological research that's happening out there. I was reading an entomological paper on COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, 4 nights ago, thereabouts and roughly. And so what we know right now is that there are 2 confirmed different strains of SARS-CoV-2 that have varying implications depending on age, race, pre-existing conditions, etc., as to the treatment of that patient. There is some speculation of a third, but no hard evidence yet. The human trial vaccines that they have started in America and the UK are for both of the known types, but we are looking at least 6 months to 7 months before the data of those human trials comes in a meaningful fashion for us to find out A, its effectiveness, and B, its safety. The people that took this understood that there were risks.
But with the pressures and whatnot, everything's being fast-tracked, probably to a dangerous degree. So if it gets to the stage where there is promise that it's effective and they're kind of confident it doesn't have an adverse effect on many people, it's probably going to get wider distribution, which could be very bad, could be very good, could be very bad. We can but wait and see what happens, really.
There is a lot more ability to treat people with COVID-19 now as well, and as a result, we are seeing a decline in the death rate from COVID-19. But what we're still trying to treat and get prepared for are the after effects as well. Is that there's a lot of continuing medical issues that these people suffer after coming up with negative COVID tests. The vaccines that they're hopefully looking at introducing probably mid-2021 is when we'll start seeing the first ones being rolled out for mass consumption. But that will be for maybe one of those strains, not all 3. And it will be a case of you take this and your chances are minimized, but they aren't complete. Like, it's not like the polio vaccine where it's never going to happen. So, and then after that, what they've got to try and then do is make sure that a vaccine for the 2nd strain or the 3rd strain, if the 3rd strain gets found and verified, is making sure that a 2nd or 3rd vaccine does not have any horrible interactions with the original vaccine as well. So that could get a little bit tricky and a little bit dicey as well. So that's what's making the time frame even longer again.
Yep. Yeah, well, normal time frames is sort of like 5 years.
It's almost as if biology and the human immune system is really, really complicated.
Anybody would think so, huh?
You'd reckon.
Yeah.
You reckon there's all sort of stuff going on, all sorts of stuff.
In my study,
you have a friend. You know what the Trumpers are going to say? We told you so. Oh well, look, you don't want to pay attention to those people. It's like every now and then someone says, like, you should engage with them. We go, why? Why engage with people who only act and speak in bad faith and just want to waste your time? Sorry, you don't know what I'm laughing at, but you'll see it in a minute.
I always try to give those the benefit of the doubt when they come to me and they're pro-Trump or they're pro-Abbott or whatever the case may be. I always try to give the benefit of the doubt, and I try to have a civil discussion with them. That's awesome.
Grabbed a Pepsi from the fridge, grabbed an ice cream from the freezer, all is good.
Oh, he just sees just this ninja hand behind you. Yeah. It was
great. When I started laughing, I said, you'll see soon, because she'd started ninja crawling across the floor to stay below the camera line.
I knew what was happening as soon as you said that. I knew, there's going to be someone.
Yeah, I thought it was either going to be Mrs. Angry or Angry Junior. I wasn't too sure which one.
Yeah.
When the hand went up, I was like, oh, that's a Mrs. Angry hand. Yeah. No, as I was saying, I always try to give those people the benefit of the doubt when I first have a discussion with them in regards to why they think the Turnbull is good or why they think that Scotty from marketing is good or whatever the case may be. And some of them have some like economic principles that they think is the best way, and I can kind of accept that. I'll give that a free pass. But the ones that turn around and go, because they're building a wall, or they're stopping the boat, that's when I just draw the line, because that's just racism.
The Liberals are just horrible economic managers. Every time they're in power, the economy just goes down.
Absolutely. And it's worth having a discussion with them about that, because they're actually kind of open to that discussion. The ones that are like, no, because they're stopping the boats or whatever, they're just racist fuckwits. There's no point.
Yeah.
Yes, as soon as someone does, it just degenerates into talking points and arguing in bad
and three-letter slogans.
It's just like, yep, no, you are not worth my time. Like, as you say, that economic thing. I'm when someone goes, oh, because blah, 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 I go, okay, you and I value different things, and that's why you've come to a different conclusion to me, because we place different value on different things. Say la vie. And, or we believe, and because, look, honestly, you can argue till you're blue in the face about virtually any political or economic system. Nothing is 100% right. You can undermine everything with logic and historical examples and whatnot, but those are the things I can agree to disagree on. Fiscal policy and this you get those fucking smug dicks on social media going, oh, grown-ups can disagree with someone and go, if your disagreement is about another person's right to exist, that's not a disagreement. You're evil and fuck you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I've had that before where somebody's turned around to me and said, oh, no, I support, at the time it was Abbott. And they were like, no, I support Abbott because he's stopping all of the illegal boat arrivals. And I turned around to him and said, okay, then just you go off and have a good night then, because there's no point in talking to you.
Yep.
And he was like, yeah, typical left-winger, can't have a civil discourse. And I turned around to him and said, well, civility means that everybody has a right to life and fucking safety, and you don't believe that, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And also, again, the fiscal management thing, the blowing billions of dollars on the PR thing of keeping these people locked in concentration camps, besides being vile and evil, it's costing billions of dollars as well. It's insane. Look, my lovely Dane jumped straight in with a ding dong, the Cheeto's dead. Yes, everyone's pretty excited. Either relieved or excited, thing. That's
Suffer, yes, I am very close to the new Western Sydney airport. You can drive to where they've got boots on the ground now in about 10 minutes-ish. less than that, depending. So yeah, we're very, very close to a place. It's a suburb called Badgerys Creek, and we're fairly close to Badgerys Creek.
Good old Badgerys Creek. Like, I lived in Sydney in the 90s, and it was all about the airport's going to be built at Badgerys Creek in the fucking 90s. And it's just starting now. Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Bureaucracy and major public works, hey? What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you are not wrong. Although, like, Abigail will completely agree with me on this, and anybody with half a brain would fucking agree with me on this. The goddamn backflip of the libs on the fucking NBN and actually going fiber to the premises on a bunch of places, because it's like, yeah, no, they're the good economic managers, for the sake of fuck, like, that still shits me more than it should right now. I'm still more emotional about that.
That was a debacle, and because they couldn't admit Labor had a good policy. They are so stuck in ideology.
Yeah.
They had to say every single Labor idea is inherently bad, and they had to sabotage it. And yeah, slow grind later, it's like, oh, we're going to do the exact thing that we fucking nobbled all those years back. Fucking pieces of shit.
Amen. Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, no. Sorry. Just Safa commented when we're talking about turn back the boats. Didn't they bribe the boat dealers with US dollars? Yes. But my initial thought, I thought you said, didn't they bribe the boat dealers with LSD? Which I like the idea of the Australian Navy pulling up alongside boats going, guys, you want to get fucked up? Come on. If you turn around, we'll give you some good gear and get you real fucked up.
No, they're Australians. They wouldn't be saying, guys, do you want to get fucked up? They'd be like, hey, guys, you want to get maggoted? Come on now. Show your Aussie pride, angry.
Maggoted is drunk, though.
I've heard it used for both. So no,
I've never heard it for hallucinogens. But anyway, that's a colloquialism is what it is. It is.
There's a guy that I used to work with who was this complete right-wing fucking nut job, no matter what. Just like, he wanted to be the next Alan Jones type idiot.
Yeah.
So Gillard at this point had taken over the reins from Rudd, and they started off the first of the rollout of the NBN of fiber to the premises. Now, he and I both worked in IT. We both worked in networking. So we both understood the technology that was being introduced and the benefits of such. And he would have to constantly do mental backflips and constantly say things like, oh, we don't need that kind of speed. Oh, it's not going to be all that better than what we've currently got, knowing full well that the Labor's idea was still better. But the moment that you admit that, you have to admit that maybe some of the other fucking things that they did wasn't that bad either.
Yeah. Well, okay, I can see they're not even that generous. They just had this blind ideology that must say everything Labor does is bad. But I'd probably argue the toss that if you say one thing's good, you can say something else is good. I think you should be open to it. I think you should be open to say, like, okay, look, honestly, the other guys, they fucked up this, and this. But you know what? There was something in place for this. And in what I'd say if I was a politician is, I'll make it even better. They didn't completely fuck that up, so I'll make it even better. I remember John Howard came to my uni when he was opposition leader, and this is before he ever won government.
And so this is Hawke Keating days.
Yep, because that's how old I am. And the local Liberal group invited him to give a speech, and foolish bloody uni students in the Q&A section thought they'd be craftier than a career politician, and he fucking shot them down every time. People coming up with their really sort of, I'm a radical lefty, I'm gonna get John Howard. It's like, dude, he has been in the fucking trenches of shit fight politics for 20 years. You don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
And he did. No. He cut them to pieces. But he even said, was one of Keating's neoliberal policies about deregulating the Australian currency, essentially floating the dollar rather than having it at a fixed price. And someone's bounded up and said, oh, you said that was a good thing. How can you defend it when blah, 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 and said one economic impact of it. And Howard just straight up said, yep, that is the only good thing Paul Keating ever did. And what changing that saves us from blah, 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 blah. But even John Howard, this is in the 90s, was willing to say there was an economic policy that he did that I say is the right thing to do. And I just think it should have happened sooner, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like I would do is say like, oh yeah, look, that policy sucks, that sucks, that sucks. But you know what? That one, they were on the right track, but they're pretty incompetent. So I'm going to carry it and then I just claim credit for it as well. I'm just going to make it better rather than knowing that it's a good policy, but destroying it just because you're blinded by ideology is just fucking dumb.
Amen. Yeah. No, I couldn't have said it better myself. If the Libs had come in and said, yeah, look, the NBN technology that they want to introduce is the best of the technology that's available out there, and we want to improve on the speed of the rollout, or we want to do the rollout differently or make it more cost effective or whatever, then maybe I would have hated them slightly less.
Yeah. Well, Stephen Conroy did fuck up the rollout, and I'll never forgive him for that.
Amen to that, yeah.
He was being really bloody confrontational with Telstra, and Telstra are way good at slowing shit down if they don't want to do it.
Well, and you were not wrong.
Conroy's mishandling of it, and it was mishandling, meant none of the infrastructure had gone ahead by the time Labor lost office. So the Liberals could actually destroy it quite easily. Whereas if Conroy had been less bloody minded and had actually done it with Telstra rather than saying, fuck you, Telstra, you're not in charge, I am, you're going to do everything I say. And so then he essentially did get sabotaged by Telstra. If he'd done it, if he hadn't let that happen, if he'd had the infrastructure roll out sufficiently, the Libs couldn't have done. Could you imagine if, say, a quarter of Australia had the Labor vision of the NBN working, and then the Liberals tried to say, we're going to nobble it, and no, it wouldn't have worked. But because there'd been no successful rollout, basically, they could nobble it. And
I mean, I understand why he wanted to get Telstra out of that position, but there's got to be, like, there are ways to do that, and the only way that you're ever going to be able to do that is to play the fucking long game with them, and you know, just be smarter than them. And he was just deciding that nope, he was going to go 100 mile an hour straight in their face, you know, flashing neon sign, I'ma do this. And Telstra just basically went, okay, this is everything that we need to do to stop you from doing that to us, so screw you. So, like, I accept the ideal. I very, very, very highly disagree with his attempt. Because, Conroy was also that fucking idiot that before all of this debacle was trying to say that violent video games cause violent tendencies and all of that sort of shit as well.
I was about to bring that up. He was an authoritarian who wanted police state surveillance on everyone on the internet. And so fuck him, really. My summation of Stephen Conroy's career is fuck him. It's a bit of a worry. Hey, I'm going to get some camera stuff because you might be able to tell I'm definitely going to fucking shoot a video tonight. So, but I didn't set up before doing it. So I'm
apparently I am as well.
Leave you two in chat.
No worries. Hist, you asked in chat, so does this mean we're getting fiber to the premises, or is it just some places? At this point in time, it is just some places in various Liberal areas where the fiber to the node or the fiber to the curb technology has been so slow and unreliable that they're getting enough complaints for them to kind of go, okay, we actually need to do something about that. So unfortunately, it's not the entire thing, which it would be better if they did the entire thing, but if they tried to do the entire thing now, it would just be stupendously expensive. And, you know, they've already fucked the economy hard enough. If they try to do that, they're just going to destroy it even further, to the point that even Murdoch's constant PR campaign for them wouldn't be able to hide them from it. So, Suffer says it was interesting when Conroy quit in 2016, when Libs wanted to investigate him before the 2016 election. That is true. goodness. Anytime somebody says video games cause violence, I tell them when I was a child, and also it all comes down to bad parenting. Okay, Abigail, you're a parent. How did you feel about your kid playing violent video games growing up?
I didn't care. It doesn't make you a violent person.
So it was just about teaching them the difference between fantasy and reality, yeah?
Well, yeah. I mean, my son just got it. You know, it's like he just understood. Oh, I don't do this in real life. This is like you teach your kids morals, and it just works.
I remember the last time that this was the big hot button news topic.
I've got something appropriate to this conversation. This is my. I haven't opened it yet, but this is my Penny Arcade Desert Bus pin. A Desert Bus is a video game made by Penn and Teller. And have you heard about it? They made it in the 90s for an ancient console. So basically, the premise of the game is that they wanted to make the most boring game possible to prove that video games and violence isn't a link. You know, video games aren't inherently violent. It's the person. So what it is, basically, you are a bus driver and you have to drive a bus from Las Vegas to... and it's an 8-hour bus trip, right? And it's in real time. And it's in ancient graphics. It's ancient graphics, and the best part is the bus is constantly veering to the left, so you're always having to. Constantly veering to the right, so you have to keep moving the joystick to the left. It's not that ancient good spirit. It's like the Sega Mega Drive or something like that. Like that era,
Dreamcast or something like that, yeah.
No, not that late. It was like late 80s, early 90s.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I want to find that.
Anyway, so if you veer off the road, then you have to start again from scratch. The game ends.
Wow.
So what happens is if you make it 8 hours to your destination, you get 1 point, and you have to make the return trip.
Oh my god!
Yes.
That's the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a game that Penn and Teller made for their Smoke and Mirrors release of games, and I
remember there was a.
It's iconic. There's an upgraded version, but yeah, the original is still classic. And so the Canadian comedy troupe Loading Ready Run, who I'm a big fan of, they started a charity stream where they played Desert Bus, and asked for donations, and basically they'll play it for as long as the donations keep coming in, but they raise the amount for each hour by 1%. So it usually goes for about a week and a half, and eventually it's exponential how many donations they get. Eventually awesome. It's like $1 million for the next hour. So yeah, it's called Desert Bus for Hope. Every year they do it, and it's become huge. And this is the Penny Arcade Desert Bus, because on the mirror in the bus there's a air freshener, and this is an actual mirror. So they're gonna do it this year, I think, but it's gonna be like isolation version, and all the proceeds go to a charity that Penny Arcade support. I forget what it's called. Bad enforcer here, but it's basically a charity that puts video games and other entertainment stuff for in hospitals for kids. and gives them hope and entertainment, which is really important. If you've ever stayed in hospital, it's dead boring.
Oh yeah,
And for kids, it's exponentially worse. So that's
No,
what the charity is for, and they earn lots of money, and they have lots of prizes, and they have Child's Play. Thank you, Hist. Yes, that's the one. It's called Child's Play, and there's lots of prizes. There's art. There's auctions, silent auctions. There's you can do requests. You can call in it. I want to request. He does this thing. Shenanigans. It's just a fun 24/7 kind of live stream where they just play Desert Bus and do funny stuff. So,
I'm gonna look it up. Yeah,
do it. It's lots of fun.
When I was a kid, when I was about 8 years old, I got bacterial meningitis. That's
the horrible one. Oh, you poor thing.
Viral meningitis is the one that'll fucking kill you 9 times out of 10.
Oh, okay.
And if you manage to
it's
survive
not fun.
No, if you manage to survive
any meningitis.
If you manage to survive the viral one, then you can come out of it blind and deaf and all sorts of different horrible things. Bacterial meningitis, there's very few long-lasting side effects, if any, with some people. I was one of the lucky ones that when I got better, I didn't have any long-lasting side effects. But I was in hospital for the better part of 4 weeks while I was sick with that. And I remember the happiest days was when my dad or my auntie or my grandmother or whoever would come in to visit me with fresh colouring in books and pencils and stuff like that because there was nothing to do.
Nothing to do,
So, no, I completely agree with the kids' charity of giving them entertainment and something to do. Yeah, that's really that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Is awesome for portable gaming with last-gen graphics. What's that, Suffer? Series X is coming out November 10th and PS5 November 12th. Okay. I was in hospital on my 10th birthday. Was not a happy Jan. Suffer, I can't imagine somebody being in hospital and going, I'm where I need to be. Apart from a doctor or a nurse.
Apart from the health. Yeah. Health stuff.
I can't imagine
even
a person
them
going
half the time aren't happy. You know.
Yeah. It's like that old joke of oh honey, I don't want to go into school today, but you need to go into school. Why? Because you're the principal. Trump apparently took a photo with a just married couple yesterday.
I did see that on the news. Yeah, good spirit.
Really?
This is the same fucking asshole, and I'm going to be very fucking clear on this. This piece of shit had his private police go out militant fucking style and clear out a park so that he could go and get a fucking photo in front of a church
that he'd never been to. And had absolutely
held
the Bible upside down.
Yeah, and the lady that ran the church had no idea that he was even on his fucking way. So it doesn't surprise me that he could probably walk up to 2 people who were getting married that would turn around to me and go, fuck you, Trump, and everything you've ever stood for, and still say, I want a photo with you because it looks good on the photo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
these were mad Trump
He's
supporters.
human garbage.
Speaking of human garbage, they were Trump supporters.
There you go.
No tolerance for them. All right, so I'm going to... Are you guys okay if I spend about 10 minutes making this video? I leave everything in your hands?
Yeah, no problems at all.
As long as Grasshopper does all the legwork in the conversation, I'm cool with that.
Okay, no worries. No worries.
You've got the steering wheel, apparently, Grasshopper.
No problems at all. Anybody in the comment section, ask me a question. If you want, I'll relay the same question to Abigail. Make any comments, and we'll continue on with that. No problems at all. So I can try and take on the steering wheel of this one. Another donut day today. Mofo, every day is a donut day, provided that they're fresh donuts.
I would kill for some donuts right now. This is the weekend before payday, and I'm on a disability pension, so it's not a lot, but yeah, I've got tonight and Monday with zero money, and then I get paid. And so I'm totes gonna just go out and buy a donut now. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
If you do,
Smash
Jesus will
that
take.
donut.
If you do, Jesus will take the wheel. Oh goodness. Okay.
See, I'm not religious, so
yeah. It's a song called Jesus Take the Wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Christian song basically saying that you need to give up your ability to control your own life and just basically let Jesus do it for you. And
okay. That sounds awful.
Yeah, no, the person that said that to me, I'm like, the person that said that to me, I'm like, do that while you're in the car. Just let go of the steering wheel and just go, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah, go on, try it. Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So
that's all the proof you need.
Fox of Fate says weekend before payday on the DSP. Right there with you, Abigail.
Oh, yep. Yeah. No, my only saving grace is that my son isn't here. He's at my ex's place at the moment, and he's not like wanting stuff. So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. No, I've got a few friends who are on
like food and stuff.
A friend of mine's kid, whenever he was staying over here, it was just like fucking clockwork. Whenever he came over to see us, anywhere between 20 minutes to an hour later, there'd be a phone call from one of his kids. And they would always want the most ridiculous things.
Yeah.
You know, it was never anything important. It was, Dad, can you bring me home some chocolate? Or, Dad, can you, like, there was one of his kids was demanding that he take them home a bottle of water. And yeah, I was just kind of like,
so weird.
They have a fucking tap, don't they? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Goodness gracious.
Kids, kids are just the worst.
Is Ozzy making
even throw them out a window?
Is Ozzy making a like teaser / promo video for the current stream? Good Spirit, no. Angry has a second channel, which is Angry Cocktails, I believe. And every night that he's doing live streams and whatnot, there's usually one or two times in that live stream that he'll hop up and do a cocktail for that channel. And whoever happens to be in the live chat, we just take the wheel until he gets back. The tap water could be unsafe or terrible tasting. So, Good Spirit, on that one, there was a test done by a consumer group whose name I can't remember the name of in 2018 in Australia. And what they did is they got 4 different types of bottled water, and they just got water from a tap. And we are literally talking about taps in the guts of basements in the city and stuff like that. So not even walking into people's kitchens. And they were filling up the water bottles and having all of the street commuters do blind taste tests with these waters. And what they found was that over 78% of people preferred the tap water, not understanding what it was. So where bottled water is concerned, people want it because of great marketing. It's got nothing to do with the tasting any better. As to tap water being unsafe in Australia, especially in New South Wales, I can't speak for the other states, but I do know that in Australia we have really stringent and incredibly effective water control laws that are in place. One, because of our incredibly unique biosystem and trying to keep it as safe as possible, but also B, things like putting fluoride in the drinking water and stuff like that was a step that Australia took voluntarily. We weren't like, you know, kind of bullied into it or anything like that. So unless
you're Queensland.
Unless you're Queensland.
Because of course that they're not our Texas for nothing.
Good Spirit. Oh, the bottled water was literally someone's tap water. Yes. In that blind taste test, yes. But also, if you have a look at some of the bottled waters that are inside service stations and have a look at the list of ingredients, they have to list where they get their water from. And on a couple of them, it says municipal water supply. That means that it has been filled up by a tap and put into the fridge. That's it. And they're charging $4 or $5 for that bottle of water, where it is literally just fucking almost free to do it from your tap. It's absolutely ridiculous. If I am out and it's a stupid hot day and I can't get to a tap to get myself a drink of water, I'll buy a bottle of water. But those that say that I need to buy bottles of water because it's healthier, it tastes better, or whatever, it's all BS. It's all complete BS. Here in Michigan, Flint is still having a terrible water situation. That is absolutely true. I am very aware of the privilege that Australia has got in regards to our water supplies because we don't have 50 individualized states with their own ways of doing their water filtration and all of that sort of stuff. We're very lucky on that one. But yeah, what's happening in Michigan, Flint, and other states as well in the United States, from what I understand, is beyond fucking abhorrent. Is absolutely fucking abhorrent. Mofo says you definitely want to have an emergency filter kit just in case. In part of Victoria during the lockdown, there was a failure in water supply quality control. I did not hear about that. Did you hear anything about that, Abigail?
Oh yes, I remember that now. It was certain suburbs. So because we have a couple of reservoirs that feed our water supply, only certain suburbs were affected, and they were in the northern suburbs. And so yeah, for about a week they had to rely on bottled water, but it got fixed pretty quickly.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
And it's like it was unheard of. Like I've never heard of that happening in Victoria before.
I remember when I was a kid, there was a couple of alerts that went out saying that we needed to boil our water and then refrigerate it before drinking it a couple of times when I was a kid. And it was because of a particular type of algae that they didn't have an effective way of killing back in the day. But now they've got an effective way of killing it. So I haven't heard about that again for years. But the greatest majority of New South Wales is fed by one major dam, which is Warragamba Dam.
Okay.
Which is absolutely massive. You can drive there in about 40 minutes from my place. And I love going out there and just having a look. It's just mind-boggling the size and expanse of this thing. But yeah, there's a bunch of smaller dams around. Where I live, a lot of people have dam water on their property or rain tanks on their property. And if there isn't enough rain to fill up those tanks or fill up those dams, they can get a truck to come out and fill that for them. Don't know how much that costs, but I know that those trucks fill up at Warragamba Dam. So, yeah. US water is scary, says Suffer. Depends on what state you're in, I think. Definitely think that's about the state. Even the Vic border of New South Wales. I don't know what that means. Sorry, Suffer. Shieldsy says, I get groundwater from North Stradbroke Island. It's like spring water on tap. Suffer says, my town has its own dam, but don't know if it's used for tap water. If you could tell me what the name of your town is, I could Google that for you if you wanted me to, I guess. So, Shieldsy, you're saying that you basically just go to random springs and fill up and drink, like, straight from the pond? Because that's kind of dangerous. Hume Dam. All right, let me look that up for you very quickly, Suffer. Hume Dam. Let's see. Hume Dam, Water New South Wales, one of the largest dams in the world. Hume Dam, let's see. Formerly the Hume Weir is a major dam across the Murray River downstream of its junction with the Mittah River in the Riverina region of New South Wales. The dam's purpose includes flood mitigation, hydropower, irrigation, water supply, and conservation. So yes, that is drinking water as well. All right. Well, personally, I believe if you have your own well, it's much better and safer. Good Spirit, to a certain degree, you are correct, provided that you take proper care of it as well. That's a big thing. Mofo, a recruitment company set up at the start of the pandemic to find Australians work on farms, has found it quote unquote impossible to get locals jobs, despite the industry crying out for boots on the ground. From the New Daily. So I remember that it was last year in 2019, there was a big thing about people not getting a lot of seasonal works at the farms because the farms were getting in 451 visa workers to do the job, as opposed to hiring backpackers and seasonal workers because it was cheaper. So it may be that the farms are doing that again, but I don't know enough about that to be able to make a informed opinion. So yeah, Shieldsy says no, the water is pumped from island fire pipes. Cool. Robot Man Greg, you could do that in Hepburn Springs near Bendigo. I'd still be cautious, Robot Man. I'd still be cautious. The Good Spirit must have gotten one of those filter straws I've seen in military magazines. Those filter straws are actually really interesting. If you ever get the chance to try one, just give it a try, like just with normal water. It's an interesting experience trying to suck the water through one of those straws.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know that the maximum length of a straw at sea level is 11 meters?
I did not.
Because there's not enough air pressure pushing down on the fluid to get up into the straw. Even if you have a total vacuum at the top of the straw, you just can't suck it up.
Well, how about that? There's part of me that wants to make one of those. There's part of me that wants to make one of those straws.
Make a bendy straw that's 11 meters long. Try it. You will not. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Just to I don't doubt what you're saying at all. It would just be awesome to give that a try and have it fail. That'd be awesome.
Just use it to prank people. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be funny as well.
An 11-meter long bendy straw is going to be hella big.
The Good Spirit. Oh yes, you must take care of everything, even water, which is the most important thing to support all forms of life on our planet. Yeah, no, Good Spirit, you need to take good care of well water and all of that sort of stuff, but also your native flora and fauna as well. Yeah, I agree. How about the northern New South Wales farms stealing the water for cotton a few years back, and downstream didn't have enough water? That is the Murray-Darling Basin, I believe, and you can directly thank the Nationals for that one with that absolute piece of shit Barnaby Joyce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, okay, so anybody that's in Australia will probably know the name Barnaby Joyce. Abigail, you probably do.
Of course, yeah.
So he got kicked out of Parliament, you remember, a few years ago now because of him having an affair on his wife. And he got found out and all of that sort of stuff. This piece of shit was part of the No campaign for same-sex marriage, who stood up and said that same-sex marriage was going to destroy the sanctity of marriage, all the while having an affair on his fucking wife.
Yeah.
How the fuck anybody who ever took that fuckwit seriously, that absolutely boggles my fucking mind. He is an absolute piece of shit. Harui says, what about John Barilaro? John Barilaro is Barnaby Joyce light because he's only the New South Wales version of the Nats. He's not the full federal fucking thing of the Nats. He is as useless as anything and fucking evil, but he is no more or less evil than the rest of the National Party, in my opinion. Just to make that very, very clear. It's so how about when people talk about fracking anywhere and they don't think about endangering our water supplies? Fracking can endanger the water supply. You are completely correct. More than that, so to be clear, I have a degree in evolutionary biology. Part of that was geology. And fracking can be very, very, very dangerous on a geological standpoint as well. There is not enough long-term studies showing the damage of fracking on a geological perspective, because we won't know. Like, you know, there's been a couple of sinkholes that people said may have been from fracking, and there's no hard evidence to support that yet. But we do know that it does do damage when they're drilling the holes and all that sort of stuff, of course. But more than that, we don't know if it increases the ability for things like earthquakes and stuff like that in the future. In Australia, it's not too much of an issue because we're not really on any tectonic plates, but it is still something that we really need to be very careful of because there's not enough long-term studies.
We still have like earthquakes, and we have earthquake zones. We're not in a tectonic boundary, but we still have fault lines. We still have
we do.
All of Port Phillip Bay in Melbourne was once a river system, and then there was a giant earthquake, and it all sunk and turned into the bay. Mount Dandenong is part of an extinct volcano chain here in Melbourne. Yep. So we've had our fair share. I've felt earthquakes here. We just don't get the big ones because we're not Japan. We're not like right on the tipping point of one plate
California or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you completely. I remember the Newcastle earthquake when I was younger and stuff like that. It was. I actually went for a little bit of a ride on that one. I was right on the outskirts, right out on the outskirts of that earthquake.
Yeah.
And had a tiny little ride on that one, and that was funny and scary at the same time. It was a very odd experience, but
one way of putting it.
Yeah. We didn't even have a plate fall out of a cupboard type thing. We just went for a small little ride. It was just fun. The National Party rule the Murray-Darling Basin with an iron fist. That they absolutely do, Harui.
They
in the country
it.
generally.
They fucked it.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back,
in a
Henry.
really corrupt manner.
Back,
I'm back and mouthy. Annette's here. Hello, Annette. Do you want to join us? You can if you like.
Suffer was talking about the cotton farmers getting all of the water not long ago and not enough water going further downstreams. And I'm like, you could directly thank that piece of shit Barnaby Joyce for that.
Yeah. Oh, no, the criminality and mismanagement of the water system by the Nationals is something to behold. Mm-hmm. And the criminality part of it has been brought out repeatedly, and they're just like, yeah, no, mate, it's fine. It's like, what? Like the bribe.
Yeah, how they've gotten away with it is criminal.
It's
absolutely
wild.
Criminal.
And now they're bringing in this federal ICAC that has absolutely no fucking teeth and no ability to do a damn thing.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that shits me.
They might as well just take out billboards everywhere that say, fuck yes, we're corrupt. Why else would you resist an independent corruption body? There was literally only one reason to do that. And it's just like, my God, they're so blatant. They are so fucking blatant.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's, I remember when they first announced it, like as if it was this, look at us, aren't we holier than thou type fucking feeling that they were trying to get across about, we've got this federal ICAC now. And you just scratch the surface. And this federal ICAC has got no ability to fucking do a thing.
Yeah.
If they
probably still get them. They're so fucking bent, it'll probably still get them. And they'll be so shocked. Like, because they're so obvious, particularly the Nationals are so obvious with their corruption. They'll probably still get busted and they'll be really miffed. They'll go, what?
This wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
This wasn't part of the plan.
No.
Yeah.
There's such
hashtag the plan.
I tell you what, if that ever happens, I'm going to try and remember that.
I'm using my magic invisible ice again.
I love that ice. Every time that you bring it out of the glass, I'm like, I love it too. Make that.
It's so simple. And I don't know, the last one I tried to make yesterday, for the first time, it didn't work. It was really weird. The ice was cracked and full of impurities, and I can't work out why. So I'm trying again. I don't know what that was. But this one, 3 different sorts of whiskey, macadamia liqueur, and semi-dry vermouth, which I call the old-fashioned Godfather in Manhattan. So
I love hazelnut flavored lots of different things. So the hazelnut liqueur in that with the whiskey, that sounds like as if it's something that I would like to have a sip of.
The recipe that inspired me said to use amaretto, which is an almond flavored liqueur, and of course there are good hazelnut flavored liqueur. Mac is an Australian macadamia and wattle seed liqueur that I use, which is really like, it's so nice you could just pour it on ice cream. It's that sort of tasty treat. It's like a syrup you could just put on ice cream.
Lovely.
But yeah, whiskey and nut flavored liqueurs, or whiskey and fruit flavored liqueurs for that matter. I've got this weird French one that I just got because the guy in my favorite bottle shop raved about it. And I went, fuck yeah, give me a bottle. You made it sound good. And it's like an apple and walnut brandy liqueur. And I tried that. I'd like just made an old fashioned with half a shot of this apple walnut liqueur in it. Fuck, it was good. It was really good.
Nice. Very nice indeed. All right, now that you're back in the driver's seat angry, I'm going to take 2 minutes, if you wouldn't mind, and just go to the bathroom.
Personal time.
Be right back.
Your job here is done, Grasshopper.
Oh, sorry, Haruhi, I saw you saying, you brought up Friendly Geordies earlier, and I was doing other things. He didn't do a documentary on the National Stronghold Narrandera. He did an opinion piece on it. He did an opinion piece that I almost completely agree with. But I would just like to point out it isn't a documentary. It's an editorial. It's an editorial I agree with, but it's an editorial. Greg, you're going to skip town. Safa reckons you're going to get overrun by an exodus from Melbourne. Stella, Stella's. What are you showing us, Stella?
We are at the super pit.
Oh, is this the paw?
Sorry?
Are you going to show us the paw?
No, the flag paw, that happens all the way out there.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the super
I'm making
pit,
you the center of attention now, by the way. So yeah.
This is one of the big buckets for the diggers.
Oh my god, that's a part of something bigger. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's just one part.
Yeah, those diggers are massive.
That's
those things
tire.
have tires like 2-story buildings.
Yeah, that's a little tire just there.
That's a little tire. Yeah. Super pit lookout. That is their marketing team need a bit of work. I'm just saying. Super pit lookout, not the most appealing sound of it.
Oh my
god.
It
looks like a really spectacular bloody view though.
Yeah.
Big hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Google images. Google Earth images don't do it justice.
Mm.
No, they really don't.
Nice.
So, not sure if you can see, but right over there are the dump trucks.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
I can see tiny little dots of those dump trucks. Jesus, that's a big hole in the ground.
So those lights
that
are coming up, those are big dump trucks coming along.
Okay.
Yep.
Holy cow.
I'm not sure if you can see those lights right down at the bottom there.
Yeah.
That's a drill rig down there.
Yep.
Jesus.
And you can see that's the old, there was a slippage down there.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can see that.
So, and I don't know if you can see, there's like little holes.
Yeah.
One, quite a few over here, one in there.
Yep.
So they are the old workings from back in the old days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Really cool.
So there was quite a number of mines here that were underground,
Yeah.
and they just made it into one dirty, great big hole.
One big old hole.
Gee, humans really do have like a massive capacity to fuck the earth. Like,
oh yeah,
oh, yes.
Things like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That is never gonna recover ecologically, like for like 1,000 years.
Well, nature would take 1,000,000 years to do that, and we did it in a few. So
Yeah.
We're talking closer to 4 billion years, but
Okay.
You're
Sure.
the knowledgeable one, Stella. I'm just making shit up.
Yeah, I'm just guessing.
yeah. Well, this is some of the oldest rock in the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, not quite 4 billion, but in that time frame.
But yeah, pretty old.
Close enough.
The gold is much newer, but
Yep.
so, and of course we've got more slippage down through there and everything.
Yeah.
So the pit did have to shut down for quite a while last year,
The
I think it
safety
was.
work.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know if you can see those lights a little bit better all the way down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can see there's little red lights, that's a ute. So
I'm just expanding.
probably can't even see them.
I can't see red lights, but I can see little lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
My God, that is a big fucking hole. That is.
Yeah. As
It
far as
truly
holes
is.
go, that's pretty big.
That's a big one. I love it. It's like a Doctor
Yep.
Who set from the 70s. They love quarries.
Oh, they're
Quarry.
quarries. Yeah.
Quarries for alien worlds. They love it.
Yep.
And England has so many quarries.
Yeah, well, they had a lot of iron in England.
Yep. They've been digging them
And they
for
needed-
over 1,000 years.
Yeah, and they needed all of it. Most of it they shot at the Spanish.
I was
and
about
the
to say,
French.
most of it turned into weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of it's at the bottom of the ocean after they fired it at the Spanish. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really cool. I love the layers that you see.
Yeah, well, you can see the various structures running through
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So this is going to be cut back pretty soon. They're going to do another cutback, I think, over on the south and the eastern sides. So originally when I first moved here, like this area down here hadn't been cut back.
Okay.
So this was all ground like 7 years ago.
Mhm.
And so they've gradually cut back, and you can now actually see the bottom of the pit, because before you couldn't see the bottom from up here.
Oh.
So,
oh, damn. That is such an undertaking.
and I'm not
Well,
sure if you
it's gotta
can
be worth
see
it.
kind of all the way over there on the horizon, there's some lights. That's the Mount Charlotte shaft.
Oh, okay.
And so that's the underground. So they go down underground there.
Ah.
Yeah.
Neat. Oh, that's really cool.
So, doesn't look like anything's going to come close by us. So,
Sorry?
I was hoping something would come close by us so that you could get better scale, but that's not happening. They're all up around the top here. So
yeah.
So yeah.
Reminds me of I went to what's it called? The thing in New Zealand, it's something sound. And the geological term sound, calling place a sound, means it's a really narrow channel coming in off the oceans with incredibly high sheer cliff walls around it. And it's so sheer that for years sailors used to go past not realizing there was a bay in there because the inlet was so shallow. And the rock walls are literally a couple of kilometers high. And you go on a boat cruise in the little bay in the Sound, Milford Sound. Thank you, Greg. Greg knew it. Milford Sound. And these absolutely impossibly huge rock walls loom up above you, and you soon lose any sense of scale because they're just impossibly huge. And I was looking out on the cruise, and there was a dot moving across the face of one of them, and I go, "What's that?" And I went, "It's a fucking plane. Someone had chartered a single flight, and It was a light aircraft. Like, I just gotten used to, like, it's a cliff. I've seen cliffs before. Cliffs are fine. And way up high, there was a fucking dot that was a Cessna. And suddenly the scale of it came back to me with like a bang. And I was like, this is just, if you're claustrophobic, this is terrible because it's several kilometers of rock above you. It's freaky. All right, what do we got here? Oh, the buckets.
So just to give you an idea, 38 cubic meters is the bucket size. The weight is 68 tons, and it costs $1.1 million for that thing.
Oof.
So
Hot damn. Hot damn. Man, manufacturing, humans are wild.
Someone steal it. It's
yes,
just sitting
yes.
I'll strap it to the back of my ute.
$1 million, and they just left it lying around. It's because you can't steal it.
If you can steal it, you probably deserve it.
Yeah, you deserve it. If you can move that goddamn thing, you deserve it.
Yeah.
Wow. This is really cool.
How's the Serenity?
Yes, it is very quiet out there.
Can you not actually hear the buckets? Not the buckets, the trucks.
No, we're not hearing anything.
Okay, so
anyway.
I can actually. Oh, someone just started up a motorbike, but I can hear the machinery operating.
Okay.
Is that the view out of your back fence, Stella?
Yeah, that's Stella's backyard.
No, we established I don't live in a mine.
There's part.
And they call it a mine. A mine.
Did
no,
Stella's
just been showing us scenery.
Okay, all right. I said this is a work site, is it,
big
Stella?
pit. It's
Stella's gone quiet.
Sorry, I'm just walking along. There's more pit to see there, but I was going to show you some of the old-timey equipment that they've got lined up here.
Oh, neat.
Oh, old-timey equipment.
So what are they mining for there, Stella? Do you know?
Gold. Shields, you've seen bigger buckets on a dragline. Yeah, well, I mean, there are definitely bigger. Kirsten used to work repairing radiators for the dump trucks, and just the radiators cost $60,000 to repair. Ooh. The Kalgoorlie Super Pit, Grasshopper.
Kalgoorlie Super Pit, okay.
So a lot of this old equipment here is from underground. So this one here.
Is it called the Super Pit because it wears its underpants on the outside?
Don't you go disrespecting Batman, young Abigail. That will be enough out of you.
That is a Superman reference.
Yeah, and there will be no disrespecting of the Superman in my presence, if you don't mind.
I'm a big Superman fan, not so much a Batman fan.
Then you and I could be friends.
Actually, okay.
Excellent.
Meaningless conversation. I found a graphic novel in the library once. It was written by one of my favorite comic writers, and it was called Gotham PD. And so I picked it up and read it. And it's the police in Gotham City who have to deal with trying to manage crime while lunatics like Batman and all his nemesis are running around. And the cops fucking hate Batman because he makes their job so hard. But anyway, this is the olden stuff that Stella's showing us now.
It was just this tiny little train thing.
Yeah, so back in the old days, so a lot of this stuff is from underground.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, this thing here is a scraper. They still use these underground. So what they have is a man called an airlegger, and he has a small version of this. It's basically like a jackhammer, if you like, which he holds up, and he uses to drill holes in the rock face and load explosives.
Damn.
He can mine down to 0.5 meters width. Of course, you can't get the machinery in there. So what they do is they use these scrapers and they pull the dirt once it's been blown up. And then that'll drop down because the airleggers, they will mine that way, but they also mine up. So they have levels and sub-levels.
Okay.
And so then the dirt just drops down below and then a bogger will come. So this is what an old-timey bogger used to look like. So you can see the size of the bucket just here.
It's
That was the
tiny.
amount of dirt that they were moving back in the old days compared to that big fucker over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So obviously, a little bit of difference. So these used to run on like a little rail track. So they'd run backwards and forwards on the rail, and then they'd tip their bucket back over into this little side tipper. So they'd load these up into the side tippers, and then they'd run back along. So obviously, you know, we're talking 1940s for this sort of stuff. So then we progress along into the jumbo. So he's the mechanical version of the air legger. And these steels at the front drill into the rock, and then these both do ground support, so they pin the ground support up, and also you load the explosives into the holes. So I've had the opportunity to actually operate one of these and load explosives, so it's fun. That's another rail mounted bogger just there.
Not allowed any drones in the area.
An old water cart.
Just saw the sign for no drones.
This particular truck. So this is the bucket or tub from.
That's freaking huge.
Oh.
This is slightly bigger than an normal underground truck, but much, much smaller than the things that you can see over there. Like, this is a baby compared to those things that are actually driving around in the pit.
Hey,
So,
Stella, if you don't mind my asking, what time is it where you are right now?
it is 6:43.
Oh, so you're WA. Okay.
Yeah.
That would explain why you've still got
3
daylight.
hours. Yeah,
It's fairly
just
dark
at the end
over
of the
here
day now.
Ooh, that's a really pretty horizon.
That it is.
Wow, check that out. It's weird
That's
seeing
a
a
bland
horizon
horizon
without
for us.
buildings.
A
And
horizon
if
with
we
no
were really
building.
lucky, they'd be doing the flag pour over way over there, but we still wouldn't. You'd see the glow, but yeah, you wouldn't see the fun stuff.
I would love to get out into the middle of that field with my telescope during a cold winter's night. That would be
the total
Yes.
lack of light pollution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would be amazing.
Fantastic. So a no drone area there, Stella.
Yes, you're not allowed to have drones. Multiple
Why
reasons
is that, do you
for
know?
that. There's multiple reasons. One, for security. 2, dickheads don't know how to fly drones, and what they don't understand is that this pit is so large that it creates its own updraft. So idiots will try and fly into the pit, and then that thing will just smash into something.
And there's people down there and
Christ
they
knows
get
how
hit
much
by
damage.
the freaking drone. Yeah.
So that's still an active mine at the moment, is it?
Yes, yep. They are. So I don't know if you can see the lights over there, the trucks running backwards and forwards. So all of this end, this is going to be cut back even further, all through here. 2015, they drilled Australia's longest diamond drill hole, which was over 3 kilometres long.
Shit.
Which is long, but it's fuck all compared to the Russians. The Russians do 5 kilometres plus all the time.
Holy shit.
What city is this near? What town?
So this is Kalgoorlie.
Or is this
Kalgoorlie?
Yeah.
Kalgoorlie.
Yeah, that's where the giant pit is. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is about 60 kilometres from the Salt Lake that I was showing you guys the other day. So that's near where I live.
Yeah.
That tool on the right, that reminds me of a lot of like wannabe air guns in sci-fi movies. You know, anti-aircraft type guns. Like, if I was a kid and I saw that, I'd be like, pew, pew, pew.
It does look a bit pew, pew, pew. Yeah.
Something from
Aussie Gun
Starship
Bunny
Troopers.
just came in. If you haven't picked up, mate, Stella's showing us the Kalgoorlie Super Pit over in WA. So,
man, if you fell down there, you'd have a long time to wave goodbye.
Oh yeah,
it's a long way down. That's what you say as you go past each level of the pit. You go, well, so far so good, so far so good, so far.
But of course, once you get deep enough, then you've also got to take into account what do they call it? Bad air, where there's like heaps of carbon dioxide deposits, especially in Australia, and also the heat and compression down those areas as well. So do you work as a miner? Do you, Stella, if you don't mind my asking?
yeah. I'm a geologist. So at the moment, I'm working in exploration, but I've worked in the pits and underground previously.
Yeah.
Where were you earlier when I was talking to people about geology? You would have been handy.
Yeah, it's like when I randomly said 1,000,000 years, Stella goes 3 billion. And I mean, yeah, okay, you're the one who actually knows shit. I was just saying something.
I had to briefly touch the subject of geology when I was doing evolutionary biology, but definitely not to the level that Stella would know it. So yeah definitely hand that over to
we
Stella.
all have our specialties. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a saying that geology is just about who can bullshit the best. But...
My father-in-law is also a geologist, and a lovely, lovely, lovely man. But damn, is he boring?
Yeah. I
don't know if you can see all the way over there. There's a vehicle with blue lights on. The blue lights are their explosives trucks.
Oh, okay.
I can't
really see I can see lights, but I can't really see the difference in color.
Yeah, no, maybe if it was like actual nighttime, we might be able to see the difference in the color.
Yeah, it's also quite a long way away, and the vehicles are actually very large, but it is a long way away.
Yeah, they're just remember beads of light.
About 3 years ago, I stood next to my my first ever seeing up close a proper mining truck, and you know, I'm not exactly the tallest guy in the world, but that tire was 4 times the height of me. It was fucking insane.
Yeah, they have those things that are like 2 stories tall.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Oh, that is a beautiful horizon.
It is. It is.
Check that out.
Man,
this is so much fun. This is
cool.
cool.
The last few days, so
yeah.
All right, so I should go because I need to drive home, and I'll be driving home in the dark, and there's lots of kangaroos.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, thanks for sharing that.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah,
that was so cool.
So hey, Stella, if you could do us just one quick favor, do a camera flip and give us a face reveal.
Nice try.
It was worth a try. It was worth a try.
You've been told, son. You've been told, son.
Yeah. Look, Grasshopper, you're just gonna have to find more material for your spank bank.
Abigail, I don't need any more material, darling. I've got you.
I've so much material.
I saw that coming.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
You're not, Angry. You're not even on my mail out list for photos I take occasionally.
Well, we'll have to fix that. Haven't I ever given you my email address?
Well, it's my phone number only.
Oh, so you've got my phone number, don't you?
I do now, yeah.
Yeah, you do now. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Well, Grasshopper knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I do.
Well,
I do.
It's like an increasing number of people I know. We were talking about this the other night. An increasing number of people I know have OnlyFans pages, and they go on social media and go OnlyFans. And I'm like, I'm kind of intrigued, and I'm kind of feel it's just too weird. So I'm not. No.
Oh, speaking of which, I've done a lot of data recovery work, and just hard drives that don't work anymore, and people give them to me, and I retrieve their data from them. Usually it's straightforward, but it's pretty straightforward, but sometimes you have to go to a lot of effort. But anyway, when I have friends who are in this situation, and and it's more than just a simple take the hard drive out, plug it into another machine. and I have to actually recover the raw data off the ones and zeros off the disk. I learned very quickly not to troll through other people's shit. Because
God, yes.
1 or 2 times of seeing my friends naked was enough.
Yeah.
But now I tell people, because I kind of have to verify that the data isn't corrupt or like it's retrieved properly. So I tell people the easiest way to do that is search for a JPEG and view it. And I just tell people I'm going to do it once, and are you okay with that? Otherwise, I'll look for a doc file or a text file or something. But JPEGs and GIFs especially, because it's a bit more complex, it's better than a text file or a doc file or something like that. So I just say, I'm going to look once, maybe twice, and are you okay with that? And I got sick of seeing my friends naked. And you're right. You're right. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, a true experience I had. It was over 10 years ago, because it was pre-Pornhub, right? It was pre-easily accessible free porn on the internet. That's how long ago it was. And I was doing this gig. It was like going to be like a YouTube-y type event, teamed up with the people who ran the World AIDS Day event in Fed Square. And so I was doing a lot of work in the office of the people who did the World AIDS Day, and someone's had all this video stuff like, oh, we have all this promotional stuff with international celebrities talking about AIDS Day and stuff. You're a video editor. Can you edit us together like a thing of it? And I said, yeah, of course. And the boss gave me her laptop and said, they're on here. Oh, no. And I had trouble finding them, and so I just searched for all video files on the laptop. And this was a work laptop. This was not a personal laptop. This was a work laptop. And this was a very queer-friendly workplace, which was great. She was a later middle-aged woman. There were a number of young, obviously queer women in the workplace. It was all cool. And so I'm searching, and all these really short video files start popping up. And all of them, and I mean all of them, were trailers from porn sites that were trying to get you to buy like a DVD or something. All of them were BDSM with an older woman doming young women. It's like, I didn't fucking need to know this, okay? I did not fucking need to know this. Yeah, and I was like, it's a work piece. It's a work laptop. What the fuck were you thinking? Downloading all these fucking trailers onto it. I was like, oh. And they were all of them. There was a heap of them, and the theme was absolutely consistent. Older women doming younger women. I'm like, look, I'm cool. If it's consensual, it's cool. But in the fucking workplace, what the and why did you give me the lap? And I specifically said, I am going to search for video files on this laptop. And you said, cool.
Well, they were probably in her like cache, her internet cache. And she
no. They were saved to the C drive.
No,
they were
saved them. Yeah, you can actually save that back in the day. Yeah.
And I was like, shit, I did not need to know, honestly.
Yeah. That reminds me of the time, one time I was, when I was a network administrator, I had to oversee, the boss wanted to track what people were doing on the internet. Only, like, we weren't tracking what people were doing, only like the amount of time and if you were coming in and just browsing the web all day and shit like that. And I was in charge of that. So me being the leftist kind of liberal-minded person, I let people do their thing. I didn't monitor people, but every now and then I was supposed to check people's activity. And we did catch a few people out coming in and just playing games all day or just browsing the web all day. But I checked my bosses just out of curiosity. And I probably shouldn't have. But I just saw gay porn, gay hookup site. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm never doing that again. Whoops.
The job that I had.
He was single, but he was like, he had an ex-wife, and
that's fine, but
he was trying to get back with his wife, and they were still technically married. And yeah, look, I'm all for being curious, but yeah, I didn't bring it up. I never spoke of it. I filed it back in the filing cabinet and just went on my merry. And
oh yeah, I didn't say anything
lesson
about
learned. Yeah.
The job that I.
But on the point is, he did this on work time. He was on the work network, and even though he was one of the company directors,
still not good.
Really, you got nothing better to do, but and this is before Grindr, so you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Grasshopper. You go.
You're right, Don. No, the job that I had pre the world financial crisis was for a large company who will remain nameless for the purpose of this story. I got hired as a network project manager there for rolling out a complete new network for them from the ground up, and was given about 18 months to get the entire project completed, and we had it done in just under a year. The team that I had was really good, and we had a lot of things go our way, and it was all good. And they decided to keep me on after that project was finished, just to work in their IT department, just taking care of all sorts of various things I was a gopher. Desktop support, answering phones sometimes, which I freaking hated, and a bunch of other stuff. But the last project that I got at this place before the World Financial Crunch hit was rolling out new laptops for the management. Everybody from middle management up to the top levels of management needed new laptops because the ones that they had were old and dying and whatnot. So they bought new laptops through Dell, and it was up to us to basically get all these laptops up to date for the various management people. There was a particular person in a management position. Everybody called him V because his name was Greek. It started with the letter V. It was 26 syllables long, and nobody could pronounce it properly. so everybody just called him V. V was a dick. Okay, there's no two ways about it. He was a dick. He would treat everybody with utter disdain, and just he was a truly, truly horrible person to work with. And we'd sent out this mass email saying, okay, the new laptops have come in. Here is your MAP network drive. Please back up all of the data off your old laptop onto this mapped network drive under your name. You'll see your name there, and just go in there and copy all of that in there. And we'll get all of that data off there and put it on your new laptop, so that way you're good to go when you take the laptop home. And everybody listened to that and did what they needed to do, and we started doing the rollout. And a couple of small, this didn't get copied across or whatever, no big issues. It was fairly easily fixed. But of course, the one person that didn't follow any of the fucking directions, of course, was this dickhead V, who has gotten his new laptop with absolutely no data on there because there was no data to get. So V has decided to send me and my team an open email making sure that he CC'd in everyone in the freaking company to try and make us look bad. That he's just gotten his laptop and it's got none of his personal data on it, and how could we be so stupid, and all of these sorts of different things. And we turned around to him and just went, you didn't put your data on the MAP network drive like we asked you to. If you had put your data on the MAP network drive, it would have been sorted. And he was like, oh, well, I didn't see the email, even though it had come up and shown that it was like a starred email. So it came up as flagged. So we actually knew if somebody read it, and it showed, sure enough, that he read it. So we were like, we know that you read it. You just didn't do anything. So that's on you. So he gets onto his old laptop and he copies across everything onto the MAP network drive. We get a hold of his new laptop. We copy everything across. We set everything up and we send it back up to him. 2 days later, he sends out another email, CCing in everybody, me, my team, and everybody, complaining loudly and clearly that he couldn't find any of his data that he'd put across onto the H drive. And at this point, I was sick of it, and I didn't care about my job. So I replied, CCing in everyone. Here is the directory list of all of your save games from Farmville, which you've been playing on company time. Here is all of your website history, which includes this BDSM site, this porn site, this download sex game site, this just all of this really questionable stuff that his laptop was just completely full of. I said, and here's also the folder of the 40-something odd videos of you masturbating. If you wanted them, they're there as well. And here's this folder that was hidden in this, directory, /directory, which is full of the 300 and something odd dick pics that you decided that you needed as well. And
Jesus.
and just basically laid it out for the entire company to read.
Oh my God.
V, very, very upset, immediately, of course, goes to the big boss, and he's like, what the fuck? He just aired all of my dirty laundry for the entire fucking company to see. How dare he?
Yeah.
I've got to give the boss of this company full credit. The boss called me, said, come up and have this meeting with me and V and the HR, and I'm like, fine, thinking that I was going to get fired. Went up into the office and sat down with HR, V, and the boss. And the boss has basically turned around and just gone, okay, so V, here's this email that you sent Shannon and his team and made sure that you CC'd in everyone, stating that you couldn't find your data after you didn't copy your data back across. Here's the second email that you decided to CC in everyone, trying to make Shannon look bad, saying that you couldn't find your data. And now you're upset that the data that Shannon found and put across and has told you whereabouts to find it is open for everybody to find out, when you shouldn't have been looking at it in your fucking work laptop in the first place.
Yeah.
So I don't give a shit about your complaint about Shannon. What I do give a shit about is all of these photos and all of these games and everything that you've been playing on your laptop. As a matter of fact, pack up your desk and get the fuck out.
Yeah, well, there's a result. That's the result. I love that.
That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. But that was my crowning achievement as an IT guy at any company, was just absolutely destroying him company-wide.
I love a good story like that. I love a good retributive.
Greg's saying he had a boss who played World of Warcraft, but if you went to his desk, he flipped to a Bunnings catalog screen. Greg could hear the World of Warcraft sounds coming from It is bedtime, but I'm going to leave with speaking of Star Trek moment, because I was looking to see if there was any interesting news stories, and I found a team of physicists at a university in the Netherlands have 3D printed a microscopic version of the USS Voyager.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
Measures 15 micrometers, part of a project to research how shapes affect the motion and interaction of microswimmers. Microswimmers are small particles that can move through liquid on their own by interacting with their environment. And there's all sorts of reasons for researching it, because you could use it for drug delivery, but they have this microscopic 3D printer and they could print literally any shape they want. And the lead guy goes, I want to do the Voyager.
Yeah.
Well, there was that point the Voyager went into fluidic space. So
exactly. See?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So they did a whole bunch of experimental shapes, and this guy got to do a 15 micrometer long version of Voyager, which is pretty special.
Amongst other things, of course.
Other things, they did other stuff too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave with that. Speaking of Star Trek moment,
so good night to everybody in the YouTube.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. See you another time. I'll be off tomorrow night for 3 weeks. Yeah.